No respite in Ukraine. That's despite Russian President Vladimir Putin calling for a ceasefire to mark the Orthodox celebration of Christmas. Several explosions were heard around the eastern Ukrainian cities of Kharkiv and Bakhmut. Russia's defense ministry, however, argues that it has been adhering to Putin's orders. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thought differently.
Only the expulsion of Russian occupiers from the Ukrainian land and the elimination of any opportunities for Russia to put pressure on Ukraine and the whole of Europe will mean the restoration of silence, security and peace. It's what we're working for. It's exactly what the help of our partners is aimed at, and it's exactly what the entire civilized world has now.
And despite the circumstances, Ukrainians brave the Orthodox celebrations with the hope of a better new year.
Anti-terror investigators in Germany have arrested an Iranian national on suspicion of preparing a religiously motivated attack. Emergency service personnel wearing protective suits and oxygen masks searched a flat in the western Ruhr region for biological weapons. The 32-year-old suspect was believed to have procured lethal poisons, including cyanide and ricin. But authorities have confirmed that no evidence was found on the premises. A total of 2 men were reportedly taken into custody. The highly toxic ricin is listed as a biological weapon, while even the smallest amount of cyanide can have a lethal effect on humans. Investigations are ongoing to establish how far attack plans had progressed and whether there was a concrete target. China has lifted quarantine requirements for inbound travellers, ending almost 3 years of self-imposed isolation. The measure comes into force as China continues to battle a surge in COVID-19 cases, which followed an easing of virus restrictions. Visitors from Hong Kong piled off the first train to arrive at a newly reopened crossing point on the border between Hong Kong and mainland China. But elsewhere, at least 17 people have died after a truck driving in heavy fog crashed into a funeral procession in China's central Jiangxi province.
Hurricane-force winds, surging surf and torrential downpours from a massive atmospheric river storm system have pounded California since Wednesday, leaving thousands of homes and businesses without power. At least 6 people have died due to severe weather since New Year's weekend, including a toddler killed when a fallen redwood tree crushed a mobile home in the town of Occidental. A National Weather Service alert warned that the successive heavy storms since late December could bring rivers to record high levels and cause flooding across much of central California. Forecasters are warning that another atmospheric river of dense, moist tropical air will hit the Golden State with rain and mountain snow on Monday. Here in Aptos, residents have begun cleanup efforts, but are bracing for another onslaught of severe weather.
Several hundred people marched through the streets of El Paso ahead of US President Joe Biden's first visit to the southern border. Demonstrators spoke out against new restrictions aimed at cracking down on illegal border crossings. Biden announced last week that Cubans, Nicaraguans, Haitians and Venezuelans will be sent to Mexico if they enter the US illegally, an expansion of a pandemic-era immigration policy called Title 42. Around 300 migrants have sought refuge outside El Paso's Sacred Heart Church, with many afraid to seek shelter elsewhere.
The tomb of Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI beneath St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City is now open to the public. The pontiff was buried on January 5th, immediately following a funeral in St. Peter's Square. Benedict's grave lies in the crypt under the basilica's main floor. On Sunday morning, Pope Francis baptized 13 infants as the Catholic Church celebrated the feast of the baptism of the Lord. This tradition of baptizing the children of Holy See employees in the Sistine Chapel was established in 1981 by Pope John Paul II.